Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Springfield, Massachusetts, Jen Barlow, and she is the author of A Foot in Both Worlds. You're thinking, wow, that sounds unique, and it is. Can you zero in on this, Paul? A Foot in Both Worlds. Jen, did you design your cover? Was it like Create Space? Did you do your own
I did not.
How did you do this now?
I had friends in town
Yeah.
who actually, I had a photographer friend, Elizabeth Ellen Photography, so I'm going to plug her,
Yeah.
and Primary Concepts Design, who did all the word work on the front.
Yeah. I think it's got, I love the moccasin look and the jeans.
Which Craig Standing Bear did the moccasins, and he is out of Oxford,
Yeah.
and I go to powwows all the time.
Do they still have the powwows in Oxford?
I'm not sure, but I go to Holland, Auburn, Rutland. and
We
down
used to
close.
go, I think it was Auburn or Oxford. My son's father is Blackfoot Indian, part Blackfoot. So we used to go. I'm the one who got the kick out of it. He didn't. I was the one, here's the blonde, blue-eyed one in the center,
Right,
dancing,
in the
and he's
circle.
just sitting there like this. I had a blast. I think my son liked it too. It is
Yeah,
fun, isn't it?
It is fun.
The powwow beat and all this.
Thank you.
Now, A Foot in Both Worlds, a journey of transformation and growth. Clue people in as to what this is about.
Well, A Foot in Both Worlds was an interesting concept. I was always interested in the paranormal.
So, do you watch Paranormal Lockdown?
I've never seen it.
Oh, you'll love it. Okay.
So, paranormal, always watched all the movies, all the TV shows.
Yeah.
And the tornado came in June 1st, 2011. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And that's what actually flipped my world upside down to put it in two worlds. So one is in the physical plane and one is in the spiritual. And I had no idea that I had these gifts or abilities.
Yeah.
So it was basically trial and error, mostly error. So this is a book on what not to do.
Yeah. It's amazing. The hurricane forced wind jolted her out of her sleep. So this is basically about you,
Yes.
right? The terror of the dream. You had the dream. It came to you.
Mhm.
Did you sort of poo-poo it at first, thinking, no, this isn't real?
I wasn't sure what to make of it because throughout my whole childhood, I would have premonitions that would come true.
Yeah.
And my mom always said, if you ever see anything about me, please don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Sure.
So I would always pick up on some things being around, but I never had the teachings or the understanding
Yeah.
because it wasn't mainstream.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the 70s. I had no idea. Played in the woods.
Yeah.
And
Sounds similar to me. I remember my best friend and I used to we were tomboys.
Mm-hmm.
We would have our dolls in the buggy at one minute, and then we'd be out there making forts in the woods.
Yes.
Which I think is pretty darn
we were
healthy.
always making forts in the
Yeah,
woods.
yeah. We would call a butter churn if you took the old wet, damp log and kind of squished it. It would be that would be our butter churn. Wow, big deal, huh?
We used to make mud pies, and my sister and I always played with poisonous plants. Never got sick. We were always making kind of concoctions and
Yeah.
potions. Never ate them.
No.
But just played with the plants.
When did you start writing? It's after the storm in 2011, right?
Yeah, 2012 I started taking classes. I found intuitive classes. I was looking under paranormal. I didn't know what I was looking for. Intuitive classes.
Would it be empathic too?
Yeah, I am empathic too.
Sensitive. I know they call sensitive.
Yeah.
Into where did they have the intuitive classes?
It was in Central Mass, and I just shot off an email because I wasn't even sure what I was looking for. I didn't know. I always felt like there was this inner calling,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what it was. And it would just gnaw at me, always in around the winter time after the holidays.
Yeah.
And then I just started getting online, looking around.
This book, how long did it take you to write it?
2.5 years.
Have we got a sequel coming?
Yes.
What's that called?
I can't tell you,
Oh.
but it's a series.
It's a series.
It's a historical fiction series.
Yeah.
I'm on book 3. They're not written, but they're all journalized, so I have to go back and then write them all.
Yeah.
But it is going to be, I want to go boom, 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 1, 2, 3.
You're going to do 1, 2, 3.
So it's a springboard off of that.
When will that one be out?
I'm going to say, I'm not sure. See, if I give a date and it doesn't come out,
Yeah.
let's say 2018 and
Okay,
2019.
next year sometime, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, where can people publish A Foot in Both Worlds? How can they get a hold of your book?
Jen Barlow, 33 at gmail.com.
That's Barlow. And
That's my email.
Yeah.
Or if they can go on Amazon, Balboa Press, who actually is a self-published book. It's on their site, and Barnes & Noble.
Now, where have you been appearing?
Well, I've done just local things when I get the calling to go,
Yeah.
and I just go locally. So it's not a lot,
Yeah.
but I do know, and I figured out that when I go, whoever's there needed to be there to hear something, because I never know when a message is coming through.
Yeah. There are no coincidences. I mean, I think that people are put there for a reason. I don't know if that sounds hooky or not, but I kind of like to think it.
It's all synchronistic.
Yeah. It's all kind of...
Yeah.
Did you sense this as a child? I think you said you kind of did, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
You felt that way.
Yeah, I would know when, like, when our neighbor passed. It was interesting. I would get smells or something. If somebody had a certain smell or odor or perfume or cologne,
Right.
I would get that. It would just be a brief moment, but they just stop in and they check in on us.
I know we've had a couple of paranormal investigators on the show, and one of them, she moved out west, unfortunately, Joni Mahan, and she came right in, sat right down here, and I said, well, I just kind of said, do you sense anybody? And she was very quiet. Very. She says, yes, there's an older lady in here. And I said, there is? She says, yeah. This used to be a church many years ago. And she says, I believe she worked upstairs here, maybe with the children or whatever it was.
Okay.
And that's all I got. But I've always remembered that. Can you, when you go in as an intuitive, do you go on paranormal investigations?
Okay, it's different. Everybody's different. I investigate with a team. I'm like the spokesman for the team, because Jen Barlow is a team. It's not just me. I couldn't do it alone.
Sure.
Because everybody has their different skills and skill sets and talents wherever in the intuitive world.
Right.
We do investigate, but what I like to do is if I go on a piece of land, so I do land investigations, and I feel and sense around. And then I'll bring the information back, and whoever has that other piece will say yes, 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 yes.
And they'll bring it in.
Yes. They'll bring it in, and then we'll go out and find the historical pieces to tie it together. And now sometimes there is no record,
That's the tough part, right?
but there are records.
How do you find those?
Well, I don't know if you ever heard of the Akashic Records.
The what?
Akashic Records.
Akashic?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's a crystalline grid within the earth. And there are many different kind of grids, but everything that we do is held in that grid. So it's there. It's just being able to access that piece of information.
Right.
And there's no solid proof that these things happen, but there is proof.
There
out
is
there.
proof out there.
There is
We
proof
are
out there.
talking with Jen Barlow, and she is the author of A Foot in Both Worlds, A Journey of Transformation and Growth. Jen is an intuitive. You've always had a sense of the paranormal. Do you, when you say you go to land, do you prefer that rather than like the house we see on TV and all?
Right.
Do you go to cemeteries?
Yes,
That must be fascinating.
it is.
Oh.
It is fascinating.
I think I'd love to tag along on that. That interests me a lot.
Well, if you ever want to tag along, I will take you.
Do you go locally?
Yeah, we can go
Wherever?
wherever.
And you can sense things.
Yeah, we feel things. Sometimes I can see, like a spirit would be full body, but I wouldn't even recognize it.
Yeah.
I was with my daughter and my friends. We were driving down the street, and I saw this man every time I was in Worcester. Same place, different times, dressed in a suit. I said, does anybody think this is out of place? Because it has to be kind of out of place.
Right.
Well, as soon as I mentioned that, I never saw him again.
Depends on what part of Worcester you're in.
Never
I could think
saw
of a
him
few
again.
that it would definitely be out of place.
So he just
Yeah.
had that acknowledgement that, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't know what to say. This is the cover is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I love the way that the your American Indian friend did the moccasins and all. Did he show this to you or surprise you with the cover?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, he did a great job. I bet when you saw it, you were like, "Yes, that's what I want."
Well,
right?
he did this, the moccasins.
Moccasins, yeah.
And my friend Sherry did the cover, and she wanted to take the feet and put them towards the book, like it's inviting you to come on in on the
Yeah,
journey
definitely.
with you.
Now, Foot in Both Worlds propels her unsuspecting mind into the world of spirit, synchronistic symbols, and messages that often need to be unraveled and understood. What does synchronistic mean?
Oh, great. You asked some tough questions.
I've heard of it, but I'm not too sure what it means.
Synchronicity.
Does it mean coming together of the same way?
All right. Say you put out a thought.
Yeah. You put out a thought.
You put out a thought, right?
Yeah.
And then it clicks within you.
Yeah.
Like that thought, somebody shows up in your life. That's a synchronistic event.
Okay, so if I'm All right, so my mother and I always had this thing where I could be thinking, I think I was the sender.
Mhm.
I remember all these things happening. One time I'm looking in my closet, I was probably a teen, looking for a certain skirt. Within 2 minutes, she came in, she says, about the skirt.
Mhm.
These were just
Yeah,
things that
that's synchronicity.
that was the synchronicity of it.
You're on the same wavelength.
The same wavelength.
Mhm.
Now, I know that one time where I live now in my home, one time I had smelled, I think I mentioned this before, Bokum Riff or Captain Black tobacco in the kitchen. My husband and I do not smoke. None of our friends smoke.
Mhm.
But I smelled it. I'm like, Dad? Grandpa?
Mhm.
It just happened, and I'm not trying to be nutsy, but I remembered what a lot of the paranormal investigators had said. That can mean that somebody, if you want to believe in it, is visiting.
Yes. They do
I
all
was
the time.
amazed.
They do. They pop in.
People just pop in.
They just pop in, check on you.
And
I've had a lot of like a friend of mine who did the photography for the book. Her grandfather had come through like real quick.
Yeah.
I'll just get a sense and a feeling, and I'll ask questions because we all work differently. Like some can get a whole story. I'll get bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But that's for the person to fill in themselves.
Yeah. There's a show on television. I'm not too sure about it. Long Island Medium.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you think? Do you think it's for real?
It's hard to say.
I know.
But some of the things that she says, I understand and
Yeah.
I get, and some of the faces she makes, and having to give a message that's really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I can see her being kind of antsy with that.
Right. But you project a more, how do I say, calm approach. I think I would be more inclined
Mhm.
to listen to you. I mean, maybe she's probably very good, but I tend to go more towards, especially with that show, Paranormal Lockdown. I don't like that other one, Ghost Adventures, where it's a drama. They're the 3 or 4 drama kings. Really,
Right.
come on. But this is much more serious, and these two go in, and they spend 72 hours locked in to, like, it could be the old Trans-Allegheny Hospital, it could be a mansion. It's serious stuff.
Right.
They're not horsing around, there's no drama.
Right.
That appeals to me more.
Right. Because when we go out, there is no drama.
Yeah.
Because these were people who had lives, who had families,
Yeah.
who something might have tragically happened to them, and they get locked in.
Mhm.
Sometimes they can't find their way out.
Right. If somebody was interested, Jen, in having you maybe go to the graveyard of their family or something, or come to their, do you go along with that? Will you go?
I've actually taken friends.
Yeah.
I haven't had anybody contact me and say, hey, you want to go to hang out in the cemetery or do any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But as a growing experience, probably, to see what we could get for them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if somebody out there is watching and they say, gee, I'd love to be in contact, maybe it was a very tragic death, or, and they would like to connect with them, would they be able to contact you, and would you charge, or would you visit them?
I don't charge because I don't feel like this is something you should charge for.
Okay.
It's a sacred thing between families.
Right.
And, it depends on how far, maybe gas money, which would be nice to get there.
Yeah, that would be really good. I think that's wonderful. Now, where was I? At times frightening, the fabric of time and space become confusing and mind-bending, challenging her to find the deeper essence of the truth she seeks. And that's got to be a challenge.
It is. Every day of my life.
Does it make you nervous, or are you very calm about it?
Oh, no. I freak out.
You do.
I do.
If I said to you, well, you might not tell me, but if you saw my mom or dad around me, or my great-grandma who I was named after, would you tell me, or would you say, no, unless she asks?
Well, see, that's difficult. It's for my filters and like my belief systems and how I might perceive that you might take the message, because I've lost friendships over messages.
Oh, I would want anything you can give me. I don't care. I can filter it out. Because I know my father and my mother. I know Dad would not mince words either.
Probably because you're open. It depends on who's open to it and who's not.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love the idea.
Because if people aren't open, it'll just go right by them.
Yeah, it's almost like they got the emergency brake on.
Yeah. Because it's kind of scary. I mean, I've received messages from my friends, and it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to come through, and even how I would react. But it was interesting because I have to tell this story.
Go for it.
It's coming for it. Yeah. At the flower shop where I work, the girls are all open to it, so they're pretty cool.
Jen works at a flower shop.
I do. And so gets kind of hairy when you go into funeral homes. Because I never know. And I always say, I don't want where any little kids. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Having kids. And so this one woman, I walked in, and she had a heart on her phone, and she kept, she said, "Hey, can I show this to you?" I'm like, "Sure." And all of a sudden, her father showed up on my right side. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
And I said, "Your dad wants me to give you a hug." And her face just dropped, and tears started.
Yeah.
So she said, "Sure."
Was he the one who passed away?
He did. So I gave her a hug.
Yeah.
And she later told me, she said, "Nobody knew that, not even my husband." She
Yeah.
said, "I asked God for just any kind of sign, and you walked through that door."
Yeah.
And I was terrified to give it that message to her.
Yeah.
But she received it well.
Do you have many people request you to go with them to a funeral or a graveside? No,
Not yet.
not yet. Boy, you know what? I think that would be, I don't want to say a great idea. I think it'd be very, for me, it would be comforting. Because my family was so outspoken. Give me everything he's telling you. Because I'm like, yep. I would just,
Right.
I would know. I think that's great.
I would be crying right along with the people.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be.
Because it's your family, it's somebody you love.
Why is she here on this planet? The true life story of encounters with spirits, energetic relationships, and the awakening that traverses the natural and supernatural worlds. We had a guest on. I didn't quite get it. It was some sort of a. He thought there was some sort of a level in between us. Do you think that there's a level, or is there a pretty good connect if you're open to it?
Levels in between us. It's interesting you say that, because I had delivered to a funeral home, and there were 3 body bags, like in the dark.
Oh, the flowers that you bring from the
Yes,
shop. Okay.
right. We have to go into
Yeah.
in the back rooms and
Sure.
stuff like
Through
that.
where the morgue is, Bart?
Well, some have the body bags, and they were there.
Great.
Scared the heck out of me.
Yeah.
And luckily, my daughter had talking about those synchronistic
Yeah,
connections.
sure.
She sent me a little bear waving hi when I got back into the. I said, "You don't know how much I needed that right now."
Definitely.
And at that point, it hit me that there were layers and levels of death.
Yeah.
Now, what that meant, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So I had to go on the journey to find it out. And I can only find it out through experiences, not reading other people's material.
Yeah.
I actually have to experience for myself.
Would anybody else in your family inclined this way?
Yes. But they didn't know it.
Your
That's
mom?
the thing. Yes.
I had a
She's
feeling.
intuitive.
Your
yeah.
mom.
Yeah. My mother
My mom too. Yeah.
and my sister.
Yeah. How about your daughter? Has she shown a
Yes.
little bit of synchronicity there?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, Jen is experiencing raising, well, she's older now, she's in college, but a nice millennial. What a challenge, huh?
And that's the thing about the millennials.
Mhm.
They're coming in open.
Very, yes.
And
Yeah.
if people aren't in tune to that, they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Mhm.
Like my nephew said to my sister, "You're the best mom I've ever had." Now,
Yeah.
I knew exactly what he meant. And they all looked at him like, "Oh, he's crazy." Like,
Yeah.
no, he's not.
Yeah.
He's in tune.
Well, you know the boomers, Gen Xers, right?
Mhm.
Both of us. It's like we were pretty open too. I mean, you look at Woodstock. I mean, that's got to be probably one of the most open group I've ever seen. My cameraman Paul is going. He's in a whole different generation. He thinks we ruined the world. I said no. We opened it up so you guys could have some fun.
Exactly.
We did. We
Mhm.
definitely did. It's not our parents and grandparents' world any longer.
Exactly.
Even senior centers.
Mhm.
Have you? I know it's kind of early, but you start. Well, when you're 50, they start sending you the propaganda from AARP.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
started getting that?
Yes, I have, and the family laughs at me. I said, "I'm not old enough for this."
Well, I know a lot of my friends. They just trash it, you know. But I'm like, no. Before you do this, I said, take a look at the cover because they're. As I've said this many times, they're really zeroing in on our generations. You're seeing Paul McCartney. You're seeing different comedians in our group. You're seeing all this stuff. Yeah, your daughter's sitting here. Your time's
Yeah.
coming. I don't know what they'll have on the millennial covers, but they're trying. I'm looking at some of the articles. I'm like, damn, that's interesting. And it's something about health. Maybe somebody's got a walking problem or something like that. I'm like, they really are zeroing in. And then they have the section in the back, who's turning 50, 60, 70. Boy, I mean, it's like, how did that happen? I would see AARP on my parents' console.
Yes.
I thought, oh,
Right.
no. Yeah, it's not our parents' AARP anymore.
Exactly.
Now, again, Jen, how can people get a hold of a foot in both worlds?
Well, Amazon.com, Balboa Press, or Barnes & Noble. And it would be great, too, if you guys read it, to do a review on Amazon. Even if you hated it, doesn't matter. It still gets out there.
I love her attitude. Even if you hate it, just put something on there. We got to get you out more because Venture inside the true life story of encounters with spirits, energetic relationships, and just what I read before, and an awakening that traverses the natural and supernatural worlds. And it was when the hurricane came in 2011, right?
Yeah, the tornado.
The tornado. And you were down there in the western part of the state. Was your home wiped out, or?
No, but my friend's home was. It was just ripped right off the foundation. And my daughter, we had a Girl Scout meeting that night.
Yeah.
We had a couple of phone calls come in. I'm like, there are no tornadoes in this part of the state.
Yeah.
But I heard pack up in my head. Later on, I figured out it was my guide saying, you know what, you better do it.
Yeah.
We got everybody home a half an hour early. My daughter and a friend hopped in my friend's car.
Yeah.
Luckily, the two girls came out into my car. We raced home, and I got a call. Like half an hour later, my friend was screaming that...
Did you invite them to stay with you?
Yeah, they
I had a
lived with
feeling
us.
you did that because you seem the type who'd say, just come over, stay with us.
Yes, they were there for about 3 weeks.
How many in their family?
4, 2 dogs, and a whole bunch of chickens.
So the tornado in 2011 that hit you were in Springfield then?
No, I was up in the Brimfield area.
You're in the Brimfield area. This actually, it's just, am I right, this activated even more your
Yes.
ability.
Mhm.
And you knew.
Well, I was so empathic that I was absorbing other people's emotions, and I didn't know, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I went to find a therapist,
Yeah.
somebody to talk to. And like,
Sure.
you're fine. This happens after tornadoes hit. And I love the movie Twister.
Twisted, yeah, that's
Love
good,
the movie,
Twister.
right? I can't watch it anymore.
You can't watch it?
I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I said, my husband had it on. I said, you know, you're triggering my PTSD. He goes, you're finally going to admit that?
Yeah.
I said, yeah.
Yeah. Was he in the war?
No.
No, wasn't in Vietnam?
No, he was grilling pork chops. Did you read that?
He was the pork chop guy?
He was the pork chop man. That's the funniest part of the book.
Okay.
Grilling chops.
Oh, now I got it. Oh, so that's how you... Yes. What did he think when you incorporated him into it?
He just shakes his head. He goes,
Yes.
don't talk about me. And I said, I'm gonna.
Jake the cat.
Mhm.
Who's Jake the cat?
Jake the cat. Well, he's passed away. He's no longer here. But
He
I do
was your
see
cat.
him.
He was your
my
cat. And was he a little intuitive?
Yes, very.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They say, was it, and I read somewhere that a nursing home has a cat. It's local, whatever. And if I saw the cat come in the door, I think I'd probably freak. But whenever a resident of the nursing home is about ready to meet their maker, this cat comes in and gets on the bed.
Yes, they know.
I think I kicked the thing off. I'm like, get away.
Because we have two.
Oh my God.
When I heard that our cat, he had leukemia. So I said, there's no way I'm going to bring him to the vet. I already know what he has. I can't do anything for him. They can't.
No.
So my husband actually stayed with him the night, and my other cat came right before he passed away.
And stayed
and,
beside
and stayed with him. Yep, they know.
I love animals, so I didn't mean kicking him if I hate animals. No, I love them. But if I knew that this cat, if God forbid I'm in a nursing home, and I see this cat coming in, I'm like, come here, someone, come get this cat. I'm not ready to go yet.
Right.
But wouldn't that be something? I wonder if it happens in people's homes. That they say
I'm
of an
sure.
elderly relative who is about to pass away, and the cat comes in.
They know.
They know. Do you think dogs are as intuitive?
Yes.
You do.
Mhm.
I think so too.
Yep. Animals are very intuitive.
Yeah.
We
I
don't
know.
give them enough credit.
Do you have a cat and a dog now?
No, I just have one cat. We had a horse and donkey,
You had a
and they were
horse?
there in the story. It was
Yeah.
my daughter's horse.
So this is all. See, I didn't realize it was your family.
Yeah.
I thought this was all.
All the names were changed, but it was all people I know.
Panicked, she reached for her husband, who was quietly sleeping beside her. It was only a dream. It was only a dream, wasn't it?
No.
Sweat drenched the bed sheets as she desperately tried to catch her breath and focus her eyes on the depths of the darkness. The hurricane-force wind had jolted her awake. Do you remember the exact day it happened?
I do not. I do not.
Yeah.
I
But you
don't.
know the experience.
But I remember having that one vision of the trees just bending and the wind coming up.
Yeah.
And when I picked up Jake, threw him over my shoulder, looked out the window, that was the vision I had. And I didn't know what was going to happen around that, so
Yeah.
I yelled to a friend, get in the basement, because I don't know what's coming.
Again, we're talking with Jen Barlow, and she is the author of A Foot in Both Worlds, A Journey of Transformation and Growth. You can, she'll tell you again how to get her book. Also, if you're in the area, near the Upton Town Library, we have the dedicated author's wall. Come on down and pick up a copy and read it. And so there's great ways to get the word out for the authors for their books. These are just two ways, on the program and as well as downstairs. I mean, this is great. I see so many authors, and some of them think, well, I don't know where to go, or And when I've directed them towards like an expo,
Mhm.
I'll go into that expo and see them just. I'm like, no.
Right.
You got to engage with the people coming to your table, and have someone with you so you can get up and walk around and schmooze with the other authors. Even if you don't sell a book,
Right.
you've already made
Okay.
contact with other
Network.
people.
Got the network. That's
We've
what I
got
tell my
about
daughter.
5 more minutes left. So Jen, again, how can they reach A Foot in Both Worlds?
You can Amazon, Balboa Press, or Barnes & Noble.
Jen Barlow, JenBarlow at
33
2033 at
33.
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
At gmail.com. And there is something else coming, but it's not going to be related. It's going to be a historical type of thing.
Right, historical fiction.
Historical fiction. There's going to be 3 in the series?
Yes.
And you're working on it, so it might come out next month.
Right.
I mean, not next year. It's
Right.
2018. You're going to let us know, right?
I will.
Now,
We'll have to
why?
come back here.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Why did you switch from the paranormal to historical fiction?
Well, there could be paranormal in the historical fiction.
Oh, you are going to keep that going.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be even. I don't think I've ever read a paranormal historical fiction.
Mhm.
Now you got my attention big time. You say history. I'm not. But boy, you put a little paranormal
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
I'm like, this sounds really, really good.
Mhm.
That, yeah,
All
definitely.
different timelines, all different time frames,
Yeah.
future, past, present.
So now, where do you find the time to write? You're working in the flower shop
Mhm.
full time,
Part-time.
part time. So, what are you, a night owl or morning?
I usually get a lot of inspiration in the morning.
Very early in the morning.
Yeah.
When the rest of us are.
Well, sometimes I'll wake up at 3.
Oh.
And write.
And you get up and you start writing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
I
you
have
sleep
to.
late?
Yes.
Good.
I can sleep late.
Yeah, that's
Except
good.
on work days, and I have to go.
So, are you great at the flower arrangements, that type of thing?
Am I great at it? No, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting story. The owner of the old owner shop is no longer alive,
Yeah.
but I was in contact with him before I even started at this flower shop. So when I
Oh.
walked in, and he was saying, "Yeah, you're going to be a good designer." I'm like, I don't know how to design flowers.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
So he got your number right off the bat.
Oh yeah, he did. And I am like doing. I call myself the green team because I like the green stuff.
Yeah.
And I've taken design classes.
Yeah.
So
Do you ever make
get there.
baskets like for gift at the hospital or something?
I have not.
No. You go to hospitals and funeral homes
Hmm. And everything
That-
in between.
and everything. Do you ever come up this far, like to UMass or that type of
I've
thing?
been to Grafton. I
Grafton.
think
That's right
as
next
far
door
as-
to us.
As far as I've come up.
Yeah, that's not far. And neither is Oxford, Auburn.
Mhm.
They're pretty quick. Millbury.
Yep.
Well, we want to say goodbye to Jen, but she's going to be coming back. Now that I know what's going on, I'm really going on. This is okay. You're going to continue the theme of the paranormal into your historical fiction series.
Correct.
And you can't tell us the title.
Nope.
What a tease! All right, so we're definitely going to have her back. Thank you so much for being
Thanks
with
for
us,
having
Jen.
me.
We'll see you
It was
next
great.
time. I'll be my guest.